Good afternoon, Quad Cities. Welcome to ESPN 93.5. Don't hassle us, we're local. Some things just the headphones were a little messed up there. This is Jay Bird, and this is Serge. We're missing a third here. The little one's got a fever at home, so I told him to take the day off. But we got some guests that we're going to have in. But first, we have the breaking news on the MLB front. Yeah.
Whatever. Super excited about this deal.
So what do we got here? 10 years, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. Manny Machado just signed. Opt out after year number 5.
So he's gone after 5 years.
He's gone after 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to a pitcher's park. I mean, traditionally, I don't know. That's what they call it. But it is what it is. I guess
I don't like it, Jay.
$30 million, 10 years. I mean, $30 million per year. But, I mean, obviously, it'll be some a little bit less than others. The thing to opt out. Let's see. Looked at some of the numbers that he's had in the last 4 out of the last 5 years. He's averaged 156 games. He's played at least 156 games. 1 year he only got in 84 games.
4-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove Award.
In those 4 years he was hit 30 home runs and 30 doubles. One of only two players to do that. Nolan Arenado was another one. Obviously he's worth it. His wins above replacements huge. I don't know. It's a lot of money. I guess it's just kind of one of those things. It's like, San Diego. Sorry. I guess that's just it. I don't know. And I know that sucks because they're on the West Coast, but it's one of those things that happen because they start their games at 9 o'clock. You kind of lose them being where we're at.
Well, how that black and silver glove's going to work out in San Diego that he just got.
Yeah. I know.
I thought that was a hint.
I thought he was going to be a White Sox too. I didn't. But
left his buddy John Jay and then his brother-in-law just hanging there in Chicago now.
So now it just leaves the door open to see where Harper's going to sign, and that means he's going to get 10 years, 300.1, something like that. 310, 10 years, 310. It'll be something like that. Just something right over because this is the richest contract in sports history.
Ever. Yeah.
Other things we got to talk about later. Iowa's got a big game tonight against Maryland. Currently, I believe it's even moved up to 2.5 points. Open up at 2.
Who's going to hit the buzzer beater tonight?
Hopefully, it's not a buzzer beater, but yeah, it's going to be another close game. This is Maryland's third trip to Carver Hawkeye, so we'll see what's going to happen there. We'll take a look at that. We have guests from the Quad City Storm. We got Rothy and Coach Chezzy coming in. And later on, we're going to call Trevor Woods, writer for the Alliance.
Okay.
And
just in general,
not for the Alliance. No, he started his own blog. But the thing is, he gets really, really in depth, and he talks to a lot of people, sort of like we started to do. But he does, and he's also he covers football for Michigan, so he does a lot of blogs, podcasts, radio shows. So we just kind of reached out to each other over Twitter and started talking, and I asked him to come out because there is some news coming out about the Alliance, and that is that they took $250 million from an investor, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay.
So it's $250 million. Well, The Athletic is reporting that the Alliance wasn't going to be able to make paychecks for their players if they didn't get the $250 million. Now, some are saying that's not factual. They were always waiting. I mean, they're always waiting for investors to come in. There's plenty of people that wanted to get invested in, wanted to invest in. This is just the guy that they wanted to put on board. He's going to be one of the chairmen. So I'm going to talk more with Trevor about that and more things about the Alliance as well. No, but we've got a lot of...
Should the AAF be worried?
No, I don't think they should be worried, okay? Because even in past conversations that Ebersol had, he said that within the first 15 months, there are going to be some almost like flatline moments.
Does the Alliance need to borrow some money from Manny Machado?
maybe that's it. Maybe he should be an investor now that he can. Yeah. So like I said, we're going to talk more.
Is he going to buy the fleet?
Yeah, that might have been part of the deal. Well, this is the crazy thing about it, and we'll talk more to Trevor because is there going to be expansion? Does this guy think he's going to start a team in Carolina, or is there going to be a situation where a team moves? Is that the end all game? And not to know that Trevor will know all this, but I always thought the neat thing about the alliance was that they owned all 8 teams, so they could kind of do what they wanted and no one would ever fold. Well, now we'll see. We'll just talk more because the Athletics saying one thing, and other CBS Sports is saying that's not true. So kind of have to weed this out. But yeah, like I said,
yeah, the Hot Shots are 2-0.
Hot Shots are 2-0. Orlando's 2-0. Everything's looking good. Yeah, they're very good teams. I mean, Orlando is, but that's the thing. The one we need to worry about is the Memphis Express. Even though they had a lead against the Hot Shots, they lost, and now is it going to be a situation where if a team's not very good, attendance is going to go down and it's going to hurt? Whereas you have San Antonio, they were just sub 30,000. They went up over 3,000 from opening from their first game. So, but the Alamo Dome and San Antonio's really embraced them.
I could really see attendance dropping, that becoming an issue in certain cities, but I don't think it's going to be all of them across the board.
In Birmingham and Memphis, those are the ones that you got to be worried about.
Yeah.
So,
but Salt Lake,
yeah, they got to be above 500.
I think the rest of them will be fine.
Mm-hmm. So where do you think now this goes though? Go back to Machado. Where do you think this lands now? Do you think this is going to speed up the process with Harper?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think we were just waiting on one of them to go, and now Harper is going to go to Philly.
Okay. That's what I think.
And it's not going to go well for him.
No. Why? Well, they've got a lot of talent there now.
Who else?
Well, they just got Real Muto, the catcher. They've got Reese Hoskins. They got Maikel Franco. Those guys. Well, Reese and Maikel Franco are homegrown talent. Andrew McCutchen isn't one that you're going to say too much about, but Jake Arrieta pitching, signed Aaron Nola for a 4-year deal. So
you're a Philly fan now.
No, I'm not a Philly fan. I just know I'm not. Actually, if Ezer A's is on, Ezer A's he knew more about the Phillies last year, and he was on board with them doing well in the East.
I don't know anything about the Phillies.
And I said, no way out of the East. And I'm not a huge fan of their manager, Gabe Kapler. So, but I would assume it's either the Nationals or the Phillies for Harper.
All signs are pointing towards Philly.
Yeah, that's what I would assume, and hopefully it will be done by the end of the week. But let's say, real quick before we go, you want to hear my Bachelor recap?
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not?
Troy's not here to argue with you.
Yeah, I know. It's getting crazy. All the girls are turning on each other, telling Colton that they're not here for the right intentions, Serge.
Who's Colton?
He's the Bachelor.
Okay.
Colton Underwood from Washington, Illinois, former NFL football player. They're all turning on each other. So he had to, one quit. The girl, Heather, she said, I can't do this. She was the one that had never been kissed before. And then he had to let Hannah from Alabama go. She's crazy anyway. I didn't see her making the
Big
finals.
Iron fan.
Yep, she is. Then he had to let... I got a phone call.
Got a call?
We got a call.
Let's take a call.
Hi, you're on the air, ESPN 93.5.
Hi, Jay.
Hi.
I just wanted to call and say you're the best looking of all the hosts that's ever been on that show.
Thanks. Is this Jill?
Yes, Jay. I just wanted to tell you that I'm just so glad that Troy's not there with his big fat head and his stupid hat.
Thanks, Jill.
And because of you, we get to talk about things like The Bachelor and fun stuff.
Yeah. See it.
And Serge, you're not bad looking either, but Jay's just really hot.
Oh yeah, he's local too.
I just want you guys to know.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Like that, I don't miss Troy. He can fall off a cliff for all I care. I love you guys.
That's a little harsh.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
He's got enough
nothing.
injuries.
Yeah.
He's nothing. I don't care about him anymore. He's old meat.
Okay. Will you be careful driving around and calling radio stations, okay? Just keep
Okay, I love you, though.
keep your one good eye on the road, okay, Jill?
I'm fine, Jay. I just saying.
Okay.
You're a beautiful man.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling.
Bye.
In. Bye. Anyway, sent Hannah home. Set this crazy girl Kerpa, who hasn't done anything for 6 episodes, sent her home. So we got a final 4. It's going to be Hannah G, Cassie, Tasha, and Kaylin. And that's my final power order right there. In that order.
Those are your power rankings?
Yeah. Except for that, I don't understand. I think Cassie's still going to win, so I might have to flip that. But that's what was going on in Bachelor Land last night. And then in the other big news, in the WWE, they announced their first admission into the 2019 WWE Hall of Fame. Serge, are you excited about this?
Not really.
You're not? How come? What do you mean?
Are you ready?
Now I'm excited.
Are you?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what this is? You don't?
Enlighten me.
Well, this is their theme song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, gotta have the Marv Tender on here, man. He's a resident expert. Let's talk about more stuff I don't know about. Oh my god.
Yeah, Degeneration X is going in. All 6 members.
Okay.
Triple H, HBK, China, X-Pac, the Road Dogg, and the badass Billy Gunn, also known as the New Age Outlaws. So all 6 members are going in. This will be HBK's second time going into the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame. So this is kind of big news, Serge.
All right. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
You know me. I'll do my homework.
Because Tripp said China would never go into the Hall of Fame. So
I'm not above any of your shows or any of your interests. I'll look into it
Yeah.
for you.
just letting you know.
All right.
All right, let's finally take that break. I promised everybody who probably
Okay.
started taking a break when I started talking to Bachelor and my other stuff.
We
But
dropped a few listeners. It's okay.
that's all right. They'll come back.
Attendance will be right back up.
Yeah, that'll be fine. All right, let's take a quick break.
Hey, Quad Cities, stop going to your favorite social media sites asking for suggestions of where to get your oil change, who does the best tattoo work, or the best place for lunch in the Quad Cities with Jill. Pick up your Locals Love Us guide. It's easy to navigate table of contents, helps you find whatever you're looking for. Or go to their website at localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and then browse the favorites. So easy to use, they even rank the most popular places for you. While you're on their website, don't forget to vote for our show, Don't Hassle Us, We're Local, and all of our sponsors. That's Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
This is Matt Koss of the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Okay, we're rolling on Powerball Radio. Take 1.
Wednesday's estimated Powerball jackpot is $282 million.
Not bad, but give me more excitement.
Wednesday's estimated Powerball jackpot is $282 million.
A little more smile in this one, please.
Wednesday's estimated Powerball jackpot is $282 million.
Perfect. Now say, the jackpot is always huge, so play today.
Wednesday's estimated...
Or I can just say it myself.
ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged, and ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, J-Bird, Serge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5.
It's the hottest ticket in town. It's hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop entertainment. It's Quad City Steamwheelers football. The IFL season kicks off Friday night, February 22nd, against the San Diego Strike Force. Tickets start at only $10, so bring the entire family and meet the players after the game. Experience the excitement of professional indoor football. Call the Tax Slayer box office or visit SteamwheelerTickets.com. That's Friday night, February 22nd, the Steamwheelers versus San Diego, presented by Crawford Company.
Get more more with McGrath.
Everyone knows more is always better, and that's exactly what you get with the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport. Right, Gavin McGrath?
Without a doubt. We've got more of the used trucks everyone wants, and we'll save you more when you buy.
McGrath backs it up with prices from $10,988.
That's $10,988 on certified 4x4 pickups like F-150s, Rams, Sierras, and Silverados, plus pre-owned SUVs starting at $89,88.
And for those buyers with credit concerns?
It's no concern at the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport. More finance sources to choose from and a team that works hard to get you approved.
It's tax time season, Gavin. Does that mean even more savings?
Absolutely. Bring in your tax refund and we'll double it up to $2,000.
More value for everyone at the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport.
4618 North Brady Street in beautiful Davenport.
Online, McGrathAuto.com. Double your tax refund up to $2,000 varies based on price point.
It's Wine at the Warehouse with St. Ambrose University. Join us for a casual tasting on Saturday, March 2nd in the Dimitri Wine and Spirits Warehouse from 4 to 6 p.m. Support student scholarships while sampling an assortment of wine and enjoying appetizers from several area restaurants. Tickets for the event are $35 in advance and $45 at the door. Event is open to the public. For more information, visit sau.edu/winefest. See you March 2nd at Wine at the Warehouse, an event of the St. Ambrose University Wine Festival.
ESPN 93.5 is KJOC Bettendorf Quad Cities from the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studio.
Get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime.
Welcome back to ESPN 93.5. Don't hassle us, we're local. Shifting some things around here in the studio. Our boy T-Roy's out, playing Mr. Mom. Good for him. We wish Hazel a speedy recovery. We are moments away from giving Augustana basketball coach Gray Giovanni a call on the phone. We're going to talk to him. He just actually won today, right before the show, his 9th CCIW Coach of the Year award. So let's put him on. Hopefully he's ready for us.
Ray Giovanni.
Hey, Coach. It's Jay and Serge from Don't Hassle Us Local over here on 93.5 in Davenport.
Great.
Yeah, there's two of us in here, so if you hear different voices coming out, so don't think it's an echo. Serge, say hi.
Okay.
Coach, congratulations.
Thanks.
Coach of the Year, 9th time.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. A lot of good players.
Yep. I was there from fall of 2000 to 2004.
We were just getting it going.
Yeah, I was in the same class as Jimmy Thomas and Drew Carson, Sean Clements, and the boys.
That was a crew now.
They sure were.
Those guys all stay in touch. It's so fun to see them kind of making their way now. Hard to believe some of those guys are fathers and husbands and professionals, isn't it?
It's slightly terrifying. But, no, all great guys.
Yeah.
So, Coach, just reading some more about you and the team you had. This is your 20th year at Augustana.
Right.
Yeah, and see, you're the school's all-time winningest coach. You won Coach of the Year awards from Basketball Times and D3Hoops.com. Some other outstanding things that over the last 4 seasons, your 15 NCAA tournament wins are the most at any program at any level of NCAA competition.
Yeah, we had some folks do some research last year, and just remarkable that we've got more NCAA tournament wins than Duke, North Carolina, Gonzaga, Villanova. Puts us in pretty prestigious company.
Yeah. So, what you just when does the tournament start? The postseason for the CCIW?
Well, our conference tournament's this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
All right, and that's at Augustana.
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that's here. And then the following weekend, we'll begin the NCAA tournament, and on Friday and Saturday. And we have every expectation we'll be hosting games that weekend as well.
How do you feel about going into this tournament? I mean, you have the most conference tournament championships, the most in league history out of any coach. You feeling confident to make it another one?
Well, anytime you're playing at home, it's a great advantage. Our guys love being in the Carver Center. We've had such incredible support from the Quad Cities community, and they've made this as good a college basketball environment as there is anywhere. And so I expect that'll be the case again this weekend.
Now that's really exciting, and I know it's just the success that you've had, not even the last just a couple of years, but overall in the last 20 years. And it's funny when Serge said, when he was there, and you just laughed and you said that's when we were just getting started. So
yeah,
you came in here. I mean, it's funny because you've coached all over, but I mean, you started your beginning in Freeport, Illinois.
Yeah, I did. I started as a player up there, and then ended up in Missouri, and then got on that coaching train. And at the Division I level, if you're going to advance, you got to be willing to move. And I was young and single, and so I made stops at Oral Roberts University and Wichita State and Lamar University, Rice University in Texas, and so really coached all over. And the Augustana job opened 20 years ago, and I'm from this area, and my folks were still back this way, and it was an attractive position from the standpoint of being a great institution and a great place to raise a family. My three sons were 6, 4, and 2, and I thought it'd be a great environment for them to grow up in, both at the college and in the Quad Cities, and absolutely I've never looked back and couldn't have planned a better scenario.
Yeah. So, looking at the going forward, I know you said you're going to host. Where is the Final Four going to be this year? If you guys make it all the way that far.
Well, the Final Four for Division III for many years had been out in Salem, Virginia, and they had a contract expire, and the NCAA put it up for bid, and it ended up the next 4 years, beginning this year, in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh wow!
They've got a facility there that seats about 10,000. I think IU, PUI, Fort Wayne, and one of those teams play there. And so we'd be, 4.5, 5 hours from home instead of 13 or 14. So certainly something that has created a lot of conversation around here, although it's a tough road to get there.
Of course. Yeah, but I mean, if you can make it that far, yes, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, you've been to the national championship game twice.
Correct.
And just fell by 1 point in 2017. But just a little short. But we got to get you the big one here.
Well, it's funny. A lot of people have said, when are you going to get over the hump? And I'm thinking, over the hump, we've won more.
Yeah, that's not true.
We've won 10 conference championships and 15 NCAA tournament games the last couple of years. We're the only team in the country that's been in the Elite Eight 4 consecutive seasons. I mean, we've just made history every year, but certainly it would be a lot of fun to raise that trophy on the last day.
Talk to me about how you recruit these players that have made it so successful in your recent success. Not recent, but I mean the last 10 years and more.
Sure.
Yeah. How do you stay consistent by recruiting?
You got to find the right fit. And it starts with young men that are serious about their education. Augustana is a selective private liberal arts college, and so not everybody is a good candidate to come here. So we try to identify guys that come from great families that are serious about their education, and then we want them to have a passion for basketball. And we always start in the Quad Cities. We've had such a great run of players from Rock Island, Moline, Pleasant Valley, Davenport Assumption, Davenport Central. Bettendorf. We've just had so much of our success has come from local guys that really fit the bill, and then then we spread out. We've got a lot of guys from the Chicagoland area. We've got our starting point guard is from Denver, Colorado. We've got kids from all over, but their bread and butter is right here in the Quad Cities with kids that want to get a great education but love to play basketball.
I think that's a great point to say. You got to have the right fit. They've got to buy into your style, and they've got to want to be a team player and realize the type of ball that you guys play here in Division III.
Well, and most kids are blown away by how good we are. I mean, our best player, like we played Illinois State. Now they were one of the preseason favorites to win the Missouri Valley, and at the end of the game down there this year, we felt like our backcourt was better than their backcourt. I mean, our two guards could play in the Missouri Valley. So, we get guys that work and develop And when they're juniors and seniors, I have a lot of people say, where'd you get that guy? And typically my answer is, well, we didn't get that guy. We got a younger, smaller, weaker version of that guy. And then he, he's 17. Well, now he's 20, 21, and he kept working at it, and he can play at a lot of places. So much of it is the development of the players after we get them.
I've been talking a lot to coaches lately, and in 20 years, you've seen a lot of things change, and a lot of that also being with technology.
Right.
How do you handle social media with your players? How do you use it? I don't even know what restrictions they put on you guys for even recruiting. How do you monitor even after how do you just use social media in general, or how do you also have your players use it?
It's evolved so much over the last decade, I guess, and we've had to evolve with it. And the NCAA has had to make adjustments accordingly. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, they had a big ruling in Division III that allowed us to begin to follow our recruits on Twitter. And we get commitments from kids now. We can actually use social media to release it. So it's kind of an evolving process, but I just kind of take our lead from the very best programs out there. And a couple of years ago, I saw a great article that I shared with our administration and internally about Clemson and Alabama, Ohio State. The football programs that were doing the best job recruiting really were delivering their product to the prospect's phone. It was all about how much of what you're doing, how much content can you get to that 17-year-old's mobile phone, video and pictures and just content. And so it is really evolved, and we try to stay current with it and utilize it to the best we can.
Now, to any young athletes out there that are playing basketball or in general that are being recruited, is there any type of advice you can give them? For example, I know when I coached girls high school softball, I remember I listened to I was at a seminar, and a college softball coach said, if we're in the stands and we see athlete, yell at their mom to get them a red Gatorade or tell them to pick up their gear for them, we kind of know that's not what we need. Is there any type of athlete that you're looking for that kind of that would you okay, that's the person to go, or that will give you, or any type of thing that would give you a red flag?
Absolutely, that body language, that disposition, how they interact with their teammates, how they respond when things aren't going well. And it's easy when it's going, you're making shots and your team's winning, but what's the guy do? We've taken guys and recruited guys at times based on just their response to teammates and coaches when there's adversity, because character is such. And the longer I've coached and the older I get, the more I appreciate that a youngster's character is fundamental to their upside. How they're going to evolve and develop as time goes on, and so all those things really factor in. We talk to a prospect's high school coach certainly, but we try to find other people within the school that might know them or interact with them, or their AAU coach. So you try to really drill down and vet young prospects as best you can, and all those intangibles. You gotta have skill, and you gotta have a certain level of athleticism and ability for sure. But after that, what separates kids is those character traits.
The funny thing is you can hear that in your voice, because even at the beginning when you talked to Serge and you brought up names at the beginning of this interview, and you could just hear how proud you were of your former basketball players, and you said it's amazing that they're parents now and coaches themselves and everything. And I think you can hear it in your voice how proud you are of those basketball players. Well,
it's the best part of coaching for me. When I was first getting in it, I didn't realize that, but the longer you coach, the more you appreciate it's the lasting relationships that you develop, and the growth that you see in young men from the time they're 17 to 20 and 21. And I had a great mentor of mine tell me one time, you'll know how good a coach you are, not so much by your wins and losses, but by the number of wedding invitations you receive. And I'll tell you what, he was spot on. And so to get to watch our guys go on and lead productive lives and become good husbands and fathers and citizens is absolutely the best part of what I get to do. So I've got those 18-year-olds that are just trying to figure it out. But now that I've been at it a while, I've got a lot of grown men that it just comes back to you over and over, and it is the most rewarding part of the job.
That is really cool. It's rewarding, but it's also heavy on the wallet. So you just take that to the athletic director and say you need a raise. That's how good of a coach you are. You're like, I've got to pay for all those wedding gifts.
I appreciate your promotion there. But it's been a great fit. People ask me all the time, why haven't you left? I coached Division I basketball for 18 years. I've been there. I know what it's all about. And I just think that what we have at this level is kind of the best of all worlds. Our guys are serious about school. They typically come from great families. They have a great set of values. And yet they're no less passionate about the game as any player playing in the Big Ten. I can assure you our guys are just as committed, as is our staff. And so I kind of get the best of all of it. So it's been a great fit.
Sounds like it's just been a great run here at Augustana for you, and obviously it's not coming to an end or anything like that, but what I'd like to do is I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I know you've got a busy week planning for the CCIW tournament here in Rock Island, but do you want to take a couple minutes to talk about advocating for PSA?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I was a guy that was a high risk for prostate cancer because my father had it. So any male, any African American male over 50, and any European male that is over 50 and has a history of cancer is high risk. And so I'd been doing annual physicals that included this very simple blood test, and it gives you a number, a PSA number they call it. This year my PSA had been elevated significantly, so I began this diagnostic process. And sure enough, confirmed in January that I do have cancer. Very sobering to learn that even though prostate cancer is somewhat common, nearly 1 in 9 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime with prostate cancer. But it's not common when it's you. When it's you, it's very personal. And so, shared that with our team simply because I was going to have to miss a practice, and I thought I might have to miss a game. But as things evolved, it became clear that I was going to need surgery to remove the prostate and surrounding vesicles, and hopefully that will remove all of the cancer. I'm going to have that done after the season, March 19th, because prostate cancer is typically very slow growing. But the fact of the matter is it's detectable and it's treatable. Not all cancers are, but prostate cancer is something that if you're at risk, you should have checked annually and monitored, and it hits close to home with me. My father had prostate cancer and survived fine. My father-in-law had prostate cancer, did not get it detected or treated, and succumbed to it. He passed from untreated prostate cancer. So it's something that every male should be aware of. It's nothing to fear if you are proactive. And I've put that message out in a number of different mediums. And the response I've gotten has been absolutely staggering. Hundreds and hundreds of texts and emails, many of just wishing me well, encouragement and prayers. But dozens and dozens of men who have said, hey, I saw your story. I've been putting off going to the doctor, and I'm going to go next week and get that test, which just makes me feel great that people are responding and following up. So, yeah, thanks for the opportunity to share that. The fundamental reality is prostate cancer is detectable if you just get a simple blood test, and it's also treatable. And, cancer, to say it's curable, I don't know how that fits in with the word cancer, but it's something certainly that you can address and live with indefinitely.
Yeah, I know you're going to be in good hands up there in the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, but just wanted to give you our support, and from a former cancer survivor myself, just always keep smiling, and don't let it take your laughter. It can take some time away from you, and it can take some tears too, but don't stop laughing, and just you're a coach and you're a teammate also in general, and surround yourself with the right team that wants to fight with you, and I know you're going to be just fine.
Well, those are great words of encouragement, especially from someone that understands it. You know, they say when you have cancer, you become kind of a member of the reluctant brotherhood and sisterhood of all those that have been affected by cancer. And but good words of encouragement and wisdom, and very well appreciated.
Yeah, best of luck to you this weekend. We'll be following you. Thank you so much for your time, Coach. We really do appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. It's a treat to visit with you, and we'll look forward to doing it again.
Awesome. Take care, Coach.
Very good.
Yep. Bye. All right. Well, that's Coach.
Fantastic interview.
Hey, he's great.
I haven't seen her talk to Coach G in quite a while. Obviously, it was a few years ago that I was there. But he was always awesome to talk to listen to hear him. Like, they didn't really necessarily have, like, open practices, but being in the athletic department or whatever, you can kind of sneak in some practices and listen to him coach, listen to him talk to his guys is always awesome.
It is one of those things, and it just seems like more often than not, Serge, this show that we decided to do and just say that we wanted to emphasize on the local sports here. And the first thing we think of is just the local high school sports. But to hear that, how good that team is and how great of a coach he is, and this is in our area.
They become dominant.
Yeah, it's something that you just feel great about to just have the time. Like, he's right across the river. I'm embarrassed we didn't have him before. Like, he's a great coach.
Yeah.
Like, I have goosebumps talking to him.
He's also very busy. So
of course,
you hit the nail on the head. You know,
yeah.
he's got a busy week. He's got a busy schedule, and busy life in general. Like, we understand that. It was a pleasure to even have him on now. Like, I think we're lucky to even talk to him now.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's just one of those things that I guess you just get used to in your own. Even in the Quad Cities, you get used to your own bubble. You get used to your own high school teams that you follow, whatever else. Or even better, you know, you're just your college teams or your pro teams.
Right.
But you forget the talent that we have in this area. And obviously we get to continue that more when we get to talk to the Storm coming up here soon. But
and that's kind of what he was talking about with recruiting is they do. And this is, I think I'll speak for Augie Sports across the board. It's kind of their similar model. They reach out to a lot of the local talent that they have around here. He mentioned right away, Moline, Bettendorf, Rock Island, PV, all the Davenport schools, North Central. And then they go on, then they branch outside of that as well. So they do cover a lot of the Chicago suburbs. That's just kind of been, it's a great spot to reach out for athletes in general. And then they also go across the rest of the Midwest too. They don't limit themselves by any means, but why not recruit around here? You know, we always preach keep it local for every single thing else that we do, but Augie does that in general too. They keep it local. They support local schools, athletic programs, families, individuals. They do that same stuff around here, and they reach out to. I mean, I got recruited to play Division III football from 2 hours south of here, and then when I came here, it was a lot of Quad City kids and students, and then a lot of Chicago suburbs around there. So the recruiting process at Augie in general is fantastic, and that's obviously the basketball program is right up there. So,
all right, well, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Rothy and Coach Chezzy.
Front Street Brewery, the oldest brew pub in the state of Iowa, is nestled beautifully along the bank of the mighty Mississippi. It's served the fine community of Davenport, Iowa since 1992. With awesome beers such as the Davenport Gold, a satisfying American ale, pale straw in color with a sweet corn-like aroma and a crisp, clean finish. Smooth, balanced, and refreshing. Or the Wise Guys, their take on the instantly recognizable German wheat beer that staked its claim on palates around the world. Brewed with noble German yeast, this refreshingly sweet and smooth brew features a citrusy, tart aroma with significant notes of banana and clove. Or the Raging River, an English-inspired American India Pale Ale with incredible balance, featuring an earthy, slightly fruity hop aroma with moderately bready malt notes. A bronze-colored IPA that you don't need a beard to drink. This is your gateway IPA. Check out their Facebook page for food and drink specials. Also visit their webpage at www.frontstreetbrew.com. Check out the restaurant at 208 East River Drive or the tap room at the Frida House Complex. That's Front Street Brewery, www.frontstreetbrew.com.
I'd give a rat's ass about Twitter.
Now, back to Don't Hassle Us. We're local on ESPN 93.5.
This is UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local on ESPN 93.5.
It's Wine at the Warehouse with St. Ambrose University. Join us for a casual tasting on Saturday, March 2nd in the Dimitri Wine and Spirits Warehouse from 4 to 6 p.m. Support student scholarships while sampling an assortment of wine and enjoying appetizers from several area restaurants. Tickets for the event are $35 in advance and $45 at the door. Event is open to the public. For more information, visit sau.edu/winefest. See you March 2nd at Wine at the Warehouse, an event of the St. Ambrose University Wine Festival.
Get your maximum refund and your taxes prepared for half the price with AmeriFile.
I'm Christy, a single mom from Bettendorf. I got tired of paying $250 at H&R Block, so I went to AmeriFile. As advertised, they did my taxes for far less than half the price.
Bring in a copy of last year's tax return done by H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty Tax, or any other tax preparer, and we will cut your tax prep fees in half, guaranteed.
This year, AmeriFile has the best tax prep deal in town. Save hundreds having your taxes prepared with AmeriFile, and you get a coupon for free Rudy's Tacos, Whitey's Ice Cream, or Hungry Hobo. Trust AmeriFile's 30 years tax experience to handle any simple or complex tax situation. Remember, this tax season, save hundreds with AmeriFile, the best tax prep deal in town. Free Rudy's Tacos, Whitey's Ice Cream, or Hungry Hobo. AmeriFile Tax Centers, Davenport, Moline, and Clinton. Call 762-8087. That's 762-8087 or AmeriFile.com.
H&R Block is a registered trademark. After price taxes from last year's fees. $75 minimum.
It's the hottest ticket in town. It's hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop entertainment. It's Quad City Steamwheelers football. The IFL season kicks off Friday night, February 22nd against the San Diego Strike Force. Tickets start at only $10, so bring the entire family and meet the players after the game. Experience the excitement of professional indoor football. Call the Tax Slayer box office or visit SteamwheelerTickets.com. That's Friday night, February 22nd, the Steamwheelers versus San Diego, presented by Crawford Company.
Your garage is cluttered. Instead of a place to park your car, you've got sports equipment, lawn tools, half-finished projects, and a workbench that hasn't been touched in years. Tailored Living of the Quad Cities can take your garage from clutter and chaos to functional and fun. Whether you want a killer man cave or just to get clean and organized with an epoxy floor and custom garage cabinets, we've got you covered. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com, and you and I will design the garage of your dreams.
ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged, and ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay Bird, Serge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5. Now, back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Welcome back to ESPN 93.5. We are Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We're here in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Dunright Satellite Security and Solutions. I want to thank Coach Giovanni for taking time out to talk to us from Augustana Basketball, and good luck to them this weekend in the CCIW tournament. But now in studio from the Quad City Storm, we've got Rothy and Chezzy. Can I call you that? Do I get to call you that?
That's perfect.
Would you rather call me Coach? Call it Coach Dave?
The coach is still weird to me.
Okay.
Still weird.
I feel like I got to be like in the club to. It took me a while to call Brian Rothy, so.
Chezzy's good. Chezzy's good.
All right. Say hi to everybody, Chezzy.
What's going on, everybody?
So the Quad City Storm, brand new this year. You guys just had a big 3-game weekend. First off, Rothy, take me through the weekend. I want to hear about paws and pucks. Before we break down the game, I want to hear about pucks and paws.
That was a good day. That was Sunday. Friday, got the win. First and only game of the season versus the team from Macon, the Macon Mayhem. It's a 56 game schedule. We played Peoria 16 times. We only played Macon once, but we beat them the only time we played them. Saturday and Sunday, Birmingham came to town. Second place team in the league, beat Peoria Friday night. Only the second team to beat them at home all season. We took them to overtime Saturday night, got a point out of it. They got the better of us Sunday, which, as you alluded to, was Pucks and Paws Day. And kind of lucked out because, of course, we got snow dumped on us, which has become a weekly tradition over the last 2 months. But we had over 100 dogs in the building, which was way more than they've had in any other year they've done it. Had a good crowd, too. Dog races went well. We had 2 dogs run off of the ice right away. We had 3 that made it, our first, second, and third place winners, but it was a lot of fun. And now we get ready for a nice road trip to Knoxville and Evansville this weekend.
Oh, Knoxville and Evansville.
Yeah, it's an odd one, too. We're in Knoxville Thursday, so we'll leave Wednesday night at 9, sleep overnight on the bus, get to Knoxville Thursday, turn right back around, and comes to Evansville for Friday and Saturday.
You sleep overnight on the bus?
Yep.
All right. So sounds like fun.
That's hockey.
That's hockey, right? So, and it was your birthday this weekend, Chezzy?
It was yesterday was my birthday, from what I remember.
Yeah. It was your birthday, huh? So yesterday was your birthday, your mom's birthday, my dad's birthday, John Travolta's birthday, and Chuck Long's birthday.
Big day.
And, and defenseman Tyler Minks' birthday was on my birthday yesterday.
How about that?
So did you do something fun for your birthday?
Got a babysitter. It's nice to know that the goaltender for our team, I've played with him in the previous year, so him and his girlfriend came over, watched my son Easton and my daughter Piper, and then the wife and I went to Great River, because we haven't been there. Good beer. Then we went over to Baked, which we hadn't been to, so went there, and then we finally got to go to 5 Cities because 5 Cities doesn't allow anybody under 21, so we always have the kids. We're not allowed in there. We always go to Central Standards, which is our Sunday hangout place because they got some good happy hour, and and then home. So it was a quick 3 hours.
But it's well worth it. It's your birthday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's nice to have someone watch the kids for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I kind of take, I don't know, like a little too much. I guess I spend a little more at the rink when I don't have to go home and the wife has to hang out with the kids all the time.
So it sounds like you're getting used to the Quad Cities.
Yeah, no, I absolutely enjoy the area. There's so much to do. I mean, the wife and I really like Green Tree out in LeClaire over there. We live in Bettendorf. Moline's got some good spots with, what's that Thai place that we always go to? Lemongrass. Lemongrass, yep. So, we're finally realizing where our favorite hangout places are.
Have you had Exotic Thai on this side?
No, I have not.
Okay.
All
They're
right.
like they're sister companies.
Oh.
They're fantastic. Lemongrass is awesome. Exotic Thie is just as good.
Perfect.
So that's
Good to
up
know.
on 53rd,
very good to know.
53rd and Jersey Ridge.
Nice.
So right next to Burke Cleaners. So
well, there we go.
Good spot for you there.
Yeah.
You named off a whole bunch of really good local spots. So
T-Rose here, man.
I'm proud of you.
He'd be asking what you had to eat, menu items, and everything else.
And if you need to go to a few more pubs to go to, you let us know.
All right,
we have pretty good in with a few of the pubs.
Good.
So where do you come from? For us, like, so start from where you're beginning. Where are you from?
So I would assume it was my mom and dad.
Yeah, good one. That's a good start. We're starting from the beginning.
No, so I grew up in just north of Detroit in Michigan. Played junior hockey over in Canada, so I left home at 15. Traveled around with the professional, played some American League Hockey League games, played mostly in the East Coast Central Hockey League, winded up my career in Peoria in the SPHL, and now I'm a head coach.
So just north of Detroit, huh?
That's right.
Did you hate that city boy that was born in South Detroit? You just...
You just journey challenge yourself?
Well, no, this is the best part. There's a bar in Windsor, Canada called South Detroit because Windsor's more south than Detroit. So yeah, I was chuckling when you brought that up. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
So is this your first coaching stop?
This is my first coaching stop, and it's crazy because you think, like for me, I always wanted to stay in the hockey somehow, some way, and coaching would be perfect for me. And you think you're going to have to go and do assistant for a few years. And I was fortunate enough to just get handed the head reins here and kind of get thrown to the wolves and learn right out the gate. I mean, we only had 3.5 months to start and build a team. And, the front office staff has done amazing things. I mean, when we're going out on the ice, I'm like, boys, we're going to have a good crowd. And, some other buildings in this league, okay, a good crowd might be like 15 to 2,000 people. And we have 5, it's great to have that. And the guys have, step up when we're in those big games, and usually we do very well. Otherwise, we give them another way to stand up with some fights.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. So how did you find out about the Quad City Storm job?
So I heard about the Mallards team folding last November, just because some inside sources, and I thought that was pretty shocking because I've loved playing in Quad City as a visitor because the crowd was always on you. It was a tough building to play in. My brother had played here briefly in his pro career, so it was just kind of sad. And then I was offered another coaching job in this league right after the season ended, and I kind of turned that down just so it was too far away from where I have a house in Lansing, Michigan.
Okay.
So I just decided, okay, I'm going to go back to playing. And then all of a sudden I got a call game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals from John, one of the owners, and we kind of hit it off. And within 7 days I made a decision just to retire. Well, I can't say I retired, okay, because there's some loophole stuff. But
rights are still out there.
my playing rights are owned by Peoria, so I can't really say I'm retired. But I decided to hang them up and try this out.
Gotcha. The thing that I see a lot when I'm following, because I read Bobby's Metcalf in the Quad City Times, you guys make a lot of moves.
Yeah.
A lot of trades. Is that normal?
Yeah.
In this league?
It's I'm starting to learn that the more moves you make earlier in the season will probably benefit you later on. I probably hung on to too many players at the beginning of the season, hoping and wishing that they would kind of get going, and then sometimes you get stuck with those players. But yeah, I've been making a lot of moves lately. Just made one yesterday on my birthday too, and it's going to pay off.
Yeah, and Dave won't brag for himself, but with a trade made this past weekend, he got the top scorer from the Knoxville Ice Bears, who may not be able to play immediately, for Mitchell Mueller, which around the league has kind of been seen as the trade of the season for what Dave did. Good on our side. And before that, he sent Austin Hervey to Peoria, got back a couple of guys, produced 4 points this past weekend, have 7 since they've been here. So, like I said, he won't pump his own tires, but he has done a tremendous job on the trade wire since the season started.
Was one of those points the bullet?
Well, he was another one from even further back in the season, and he has now, I think, in 16 games, 13 points. He scored again this week, and he has an 8-game point streak going. He's been phenomenal.
Look at that. Give him a nickname, lights a fire. He gets going after it.
That's all it takes.
Yeah. So, so you have to travel this weekend, sleep over a bus. That's incredible. You guys don't have like bunks in your.
Well, like for this trip, we'll have a sleeper bus, so everybody has their own bunk, so it's not too bad because you're going to be sleeping the whole time, and then when we wake up, we'll already be in Knoxville. We'll be there early enough to get right downtown. There's this little French Quarters place that I take the guys, and there's crepes and all that good stuff, and then pregame skate, which is about 20 minutes, depending on how they're doing. It might go a little longer. And then after that, we'll check into the hotel. Guys grab lunch, sleep till, trying to think, what time's the game there? 7:30. So we'll have to be back at the rink for 5:30 because it's usually 2 hours previous. So bus will leave the hotel at 5. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we'll stay in Knoxville and then bus Friday morning to Evansville.
Okay. Let's talk more about the rest of the season and possible postseason. We come back. We just need to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Rothy and Chesney from the Quad City Storm.
Every Tuesday is Happy Tuesday at Van's Pizza Pub and Grill because it's happy hour drink prices all day long. Starting at 6 o'clock, every large pizza is $12. Stop in tonight, try one of the Van's specialty pizzas like the Rizzo, Kelchin's Florentine, the T-Rex, or the Big Mark. You can get any of Van's food items to go as well. Go to www.vanspizza.net to check out their menu, or you can call Good to Go Quad Cities at 322-2220 to order any of their food items to go, or go to goodtogoqc.com. To grab these specials and more fun, go to 3333 North Harrison Street, or check out the downtown Davenport location at 217 Brady. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, come get served.
This is Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Get more with McGrath.
Everyone knows more is always better, and that's exactly what you get with the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport. Right, Gavin McGrath?
Without a doubt. We've got more of the used trucks everyone wants, and we'll save you more when you buy.
McGrath backs it up with prices from $10,988.
That's $10,988 on certified 4x4 pickups like F-150s, Rams, Sierras, and Silverados, plus pre-owned SUVs starting at $89,888.
And for those buyers with credit concerns?
It's no concern. At the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport. More finance sources to choose from and a team that works hard to get you approved.
It's tax time season, Gavin. Does that mean even more savings?
Absolutely. Bring in your tax refund and we'll double it up to $2,000.
More value for everyone at the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport.
4618 North Brady Street in beautiful Davenport.
Online, McGrathAuto.com. Double your tax refund up to $2,000 varies based on price point.
Hey, it's T-Roy from Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. We've got your chance to win tickets to see two-time Grammy-nominated blues rock guitarist Joe Bonamassa, Thursday, March 7th at the Adler Theater. You can win your pair every day while we talk sports on Don't Hassle Us, We're Local between noon and 2. You can also register to win a pair by entering on the ESPN 93.5 app. Don't miss the Guitar Rock Fan of the Year, Joe Bonamassa, at the Adler Theater Thursday, March 7th. Tickets now on sale through Ticketmaster or the Adler Theater box office. Listen to win from Don't Hassle Us, We're Local and ESPN 93.5.
Your garage is cluttered. Instead of a place to park your car, you've got sports equipment, lawn tools, half-finished projects, and a workbench that hasn't been touched in years. Tailored Living of the Quad Cities can take your garage from clutter and chaos to functional and fun. Whether you want a killer man cave or just to get clean and organized with an epoxy floor and custom garage cabinets, we've got you covered. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com and you and I will design the garage of your dreams.
ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged, and ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay Bird, Serge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5.
It's the hottest ticket in town. It's hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop entertainment. It's Quad City Steamwheelers football. The IFL season kicks off Friday night, February 22nd against the San Diego Strike Force. Tickets start at only $10, so bring the entire family and meet the players after the game. Experience the excitement of professional indoor football. Call the Tax Slayer box office or visit SteamwheelerTickets.com. That's Friday night, February 22nd, the Steamwheelers versus San Diego, presented by Crawford Company.
ESPN 93.5 is KJOC Bettendorf Quad Cities from the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studio. Woo!
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local here on ESPN 93.5 Quad Cities. We're in the studio right now with Rothy, the voice of the Storm, and Chezzy, the head coach of the Storm. We're also just talking, though, as we're talking about the trades and everything else. Chezzy's, being humble. He's not just the coach; he's the GM too. So he's a mover and a shaker. So when he says he made some moves, it's not just that he's the voice. He's not just leaning in the GM's ear. He is the GM.
That's correct.
So is that? I mean, did you expect that to happen? Is that common, or did they just say like, listen, you're going to be wearing multiple hats, and you said, yeah, you know what, I'm all in?
Most of the coaches at this level do that.
Okay.
Even at the next level, they do. The hardest part about making trades, you don't know if they're going to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Rothy was talking about it, but it's the guys that I trade for, like, they make me look good at the end of the day. So yes, there really hasn't been a trade that I made so far that hasn't panned out or looked good for us, but there's always that what if.
Yeah.
And then not only that, as soon as you trade for a guy, that guy might not want to show and report.
Okay.
So then you got to pretty much find a way to
recruit him back into the Quad City area.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, it's all like that's interesting that you have to recruit them to this area, but yeah, you got to do the what ifs. So, do you have do you ever second guess yourself, or do you just go with your gut?
I go with my gut a lot.
Okay.
There's things I do a lot of recon because the league, everybody knows each other. Hockey world is so small. Somebody that I know has played with somebody or knows somebody that's played with somebody. So you do your recon, and a lot of it is, does a guy work hard? What's his skill set? What's his hockey IQ? And then is he a good human being? Because I don't want to bring somebody in here that won't be willing to go out and do the school visits and be good with the community. And everybody, even guys that I've traded this season, they've done an exceptional job at that. So, you know, that's good on their character. But those are most of the qualities that I look for players.
I can't imagine, because you're dealing with a real team, real people, real relationships. And I know people out there that will spend 6 days over a fancy football trade. So, like...
Yeah, and the thing with this league, too, is it's so easy for me I could just shoot a guy a text and say, hey, I just traded you. But I don't do that. I like to do it face-to-face. And I've actually had guys hug me after I've traded them, which is kind of bizarre, because you think, all right, because I've been on the opposite end getting traded before, and you don't want to hug the coach. And some of the, I mean... I don't know what it is, but, you know, I try not to lie to anybody. I'm a pretty honest and open guy. When, you know, they come into my room and ask me questions, I don't sugarcoat it. I just tell them how it is.
Did I read that you got to coach with your brother?
Yeah, so my brother was coming in for the weekend to visit for my birthday, and I was fortunate enough to see my nephew, because I hadn't been able to get around him much except for Christmas time. He was born in November. So I was like, you know what, just bring a couple suits and some stuff, and bring your skates. And so I had him out there for a little pregame skate, and just, it was nice to be back on the ice with some familiarity.
What was it like when you couldn't be on the ice for a couple games?
That's tough. The suspension you're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I was told that I can't.
Okay.
What was it? I can't talk to the press like I'm a hockey player still. So, yeah.
Well, first off, that's very nice of you to call us the press, because we're not.
No.
I didn't even know he was talking about us.
Yeah, that was very presumptuous of me. Yeah,
so I ended up getting slapped with a nice fine for that. That was the day after Christmas, I found out, so that was nice. Had to write a personal check out to the league, and 3-game suspension. So I'm able to go like into the locker room in between for, I think it's 8 minutes, and then I have to be out of there 10 minutes before they're about to go back on the ice. So I can be the eye in the sky, which is never a bad thing, because there's stuff that I don't see on the bench a lot. And I have to go back, and when I'm cutting film, that's when I see it. Like the other night, we gave up a shorthanded goal, and I'm like, how did they end up getting a breakaway off of it? And because the play was up along the boards, I can't see through the bench and, you know, from the visitors, players. So then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense now, because the camera angle's from the other way. So there's a lot of things that happen so quickly, and if I'm trying to explain something to somebody, I miss a lot of stuff. So being up there actually helped out and gave me a better look at what's going on from up there.
And speaking of Eye and Sky, how's your guys' relationship? I mean, are you just more front office media, Rothy, or do you talk to him at all and say, like, hey, did you see? I do ask him a question like on the bus ride, like, hey, there was this one time I couldn't see anything.
No, I go to Brian a lot. He's very knowledgeable in the game. More than most other radio guys I've had in the past. So there'll be games where we're on the road, and I'll text him and be like, what are you seeing? Right? And most of the times he's saying the exact same thing that I'm seeing from the bench. So that's good. But then there's also like, hey, maybe, you know, this team's doing a little bit of this. And I'm like, okay, maybe you're right, because I can't see that. So it's nice to be able to trust his judgment.
Yeah, because like you said, he's knowledgeable. We've talked to him plenty of times, and his background. So we're just a few games. I mean, you got 18 games left. We're on the outside looking in for the playoffs. But with the moves you're making, it's going to happen, right?
Absolutely. I have nothing but faith in the guys that are in that dressing room, or whatever you want to call it. It's tough. I mean, we put ourselves in this situation, and we just got to battle and believe. And we've showed that we could beat the top teams in the league when we want to. It's just doing it consistently, and that's our MO. We're slow on starts, but for some reason we just keep battling back and back and back. So we have that, our resiliency, but at the end of the day, we have to show up right at the drop of the puck.
And you guys just did a video hyping up Kiss Night.
Yeah.
How did that come about, Rothy?
Well, we had a game that got canceled.
Oh, yeah. The January 22nd, right?
Yep. That got knocked
December,
off the schedule.
Yeah.
And so they moved it to March 9th. They're playing the same team, so it turns into a 2-game weekend. And we looked, and Kiss is in concert on March 10th. So we're like, hey, well, we should ask Kiss, because I'd seen Kiss hockey jersey, so I knew that possibility was there. It's like, why don't we reach out and see if they'd be interested? And they were. and KISS on their tour is really putting an emphasis, and since it's their last go around, on doing a bunch of charitable stuff for the community, raising a ton of money, and they're looking for people to team up with and do it. And so we're going to have a jersey auction. We have some really sweet jerseys. They are awesome. I think it might be on Facebook if you haven't seen them, but our logo has the tongue sticking out. It's got a guitar instead of a hockey stick. Really cool stuff. And we're going to be doing all kinds of promotions, and that video was kind of the beginning of it. We got
I shared it. The Don't Hassle is local. We shared it, whatever, and no, it was great. The makeup on the players looked great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think some of the guys were a little weary of it at first, but once it got rolling, it was like everyone was like, "Do my face next." It was pretty cool to see, and yeah, got him in there, got that shot in a day. And
what was the favorite face?
Well, Gene Simmons' face was kind of a battle because Pete DeSalvo, our goalie, is a huge KISS fan, and he was at the end of that video. If you watched through to the end,
how old is he?
He's
29.
29.
How are you a huge KISS fan at 29 years old?
He's a bass player, and he's a real heavy rock guy.
That makes sense.
If you watch through to the end of that video, at the end, he gives the tongue and eyes rolling the back of his head. He was all about it. So he and Dave had to have that one reserved, and we had quite a few guys that wanted to be the cat, too. That's a pretty cool-looking face, but it was quite the scene to see 20 guys or so painted in KISS makeup. They had a good time with it. And, yeah, that game will be on March 9th, and then the weekend before that we have Country Night, which is also our Union Night on March 1st. That game is going to be packed, and we got some sweet bandanas, storm bandanas we're going to be giving away since it is Country Night. And the night after is our First Responders Night. So we are going to be a lot of groups doing the fundraisers that I know you've talked about before with ticket packages for different first responder groups, and we're getting all the details finalized on that and where the money we raise is going to be going for that night.
So March 9th. All right, I got to look at my schedule because that might be the night. Because I always we're trying to find a night to do for our my daughter's 10U softball. So that would be really cool to paint their faces.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I do really think it's neat that a bunch of players were kind of apprehensive to get makeup on, but they have a bachelor fantasy league. Right? They're like, I don't know if I'm going to wear makeup. Hurry up. We got the bachelors on it. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming in. It's been so great getting to talk with you, Coach, and hopefully you'll come back in. I hope you had a good time.
No, absolutely. I love doing this stuff. It's nice to be able to get out and talk with other people instead of just this guy in the hotel at night.
Guys, thank you so much for coming in. It's been awesome talking to you. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll continue to be giving away tickets. The next home game is going to be the 26th. You guys have a road trip like we talked about, and then we have those big games that we give away tickets in March as well. So stay paying attention for ticket giveaways for that. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Do you want the latest in TV and security technology but don't know where to start? Call Done Right TV and Security Solutions, your Dish premier local retailer, to get started today. They'll take the guesswork out of choosing the latest smart home technology with your budget in mind. Dish has been a leader in technology for years, and the Hopper Smart HD DVR interacts with your smart speaker to change channels, pause, and fast forward with just the sound of your voice. Sign up today and receive a Nest doorbell system free courtesy of Done Right. So call 866-84-RIGHT today. Let Done Right provide local professional installation with personal service that's trusted by thousands of homeowners and businesses in the Quad Cities. Restrictions apply. It requires an internet-connected Hopper. That's Done Right TV and Security, 866-84-RIGHT.
I want to be a cowboy, and you can be my cowgirl.
This is Adam Rosso from Hawkeye Headquarters, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
And now an old classic commercial from Mark Brenny.
We're out in the great north woods of Scott County with outdoorsman and part-time motorcycle maniac Mark Brenny of Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic in Bettendorf to see what he does in the off-season. Hey, Mark, what are you doing up in that tree?
Hunting deer. Don't want my family to starve this winter.
So, what's all that equipment you have there?
Well, there's my thermos, my Walkman Game Boy, pork and beans, microwave, newspaper, well, and of course my trusty gun.
So, how'd you get all that out here?
Only one way. Got me a new Yamaha four-wheel drive all-terrain vehicle. Made it in one load. Comes with front and rear racks, A-frame suspension, shaft drive. I even put a camouflage cover on this one.
Okay, so what's with the snowplow?
Well, you never know. Hey, wait. I see a deer.
Mark, that deer is as small as my dog.
So, Watch this shot. Oh, Mark, I think you missed. Well, that's how most deer hunts go. So let's just ride Yamaha four-wheelers the rest of the day. Hey, wait. There's another one.
See them at Brenny's Motorcycle Clinic, 4426 State Street, Bettendorf, across from Alcoa.
Did I hit it?
Almost. ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged, and ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay-Bird, Surge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5.
It's the hottest ticket in town. It's hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop entertainment. It's Quad City Steamwheelers football. The IFL season kicks off Friday night, February 22nd against the San Diego Strike Force. Tickets start at only $10, so bring the entire family and meet the players after the game. Experience the excitement of professional indoor football. Call the Tax Slayer box office or visit SteamwheelerTickets.com. That's Friday night, February 22nd, the Steamwheelers versus San Diego, presented by Crawford Company.
Gobo Productions presents One Night of Queen. Since forming in 2002, Gary Mullen and the Works have performed to sellout audiences all over the world. And now they're back in the USA for a brand new tour. One Night of Queen is a spectacular live concert recreating the look, sound, and showmanship of arguably the greatest rock band of all time. You'll hear classic Queen numbers including We Will Rock You, Fat Bottom Girls, Another One Bites the Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, and We Are the Champions. One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. This show will rock you.
Coming to the TaxSlayer Center March 24th. Tickets are on sale now at the TaxSlayer Center box office and Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Town Square Media.
Now, back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. ESPN 93.5. Surge and Jay here in the Hassle Palace, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Security Systems. Want to say thank you to Rothy and Chezzy from the QC Storm. That was great meeting the coach and the GM.
Right?
Can you imagine that, though?
Impressive.
I know. Like I said, notice when I said I know some
Wash
people.
and drying. He's like a single parent, man.
Notice how I said I know some people that take 6 days to make a fancy football trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about me or anything.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Well, on hold, we've got Trevor Woods. He's got a blog. He goes to the podcast for the Alliance Football. It's his own. It's not the official one, but it's the Alliance Football Focus. So that's his. It's basically your number one blog for information out there. So we're going to talk to Trevor in just 1 second. Hey, Trevor, you're on the air at ESPN 93.5. This is Jay.
Hey, Jay. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you, my man. Listen, it's just I want to kind of give people the background of how we started talking and what you do outside of just this, and then we'll dive right into Alliance. So we just basically, I can't remember, you followed something on Twitter that I did, and I started following you because you're the first blog that I saw the Twitter account that had a blog that actually went in depth, because I've been searching for some of this stuff, and in turn you messaged me, and I said, yeah, let's get together and do this, because what we're finding here, and you're from Michigan, right, Trevor?
Northwest Indiana, on the border, but
Okay.
yeah, might as well be.
Yeah, all right. So, but you write for Michigan football also.
Yes, one of the leading blogs, SB Nation's Maize and Brew. I write for a beat writer. I'm always up in the press box for them.
Okay. And so what we are finding around here is that we just don't have a large following going on when it comes to the Alliance, or not a lot of information going on when it comes to the Alliance. So we tried to once they announced it, we we jumped right in. We were following it from the beginning. Then we, right before kickoff, we started getting reporters on the show. Anyone that would answer from us, because the Alliance wasn't helping, even though I directly contacted us with getting information here into Eastern Iowa, Western Illinois. And still, we're just got done with week 2, and people still don't really follow it that much, Trevor.
Yeah, well, it takes time. It takes time. Any new product, any new league. So there's pros and cons. There's 2 ways of looking at it. And, yeah, I would say a ton of people don't follow it, but still the first week of broadcasting, they netted around 3 million views on the CBS broadcast, which was right on par and more than Saturday Night Live and a good Oklahoma City Thunder Houston Rockets game. A big hit week 1 took place, and it went viral, I believe, around over 5 million views on that. Patrick Mahomes shared a video yesterday even of a San Diego Fleet quarterback throwing a crazy behind-the-back pass. So all those things have ripple effects. It just takes time. But just got to stay the course with anything, any startup.
I'm 100% on board, and we're obviously giving it a lot of time. How did you decide that you were going to get on board?
That's a good question. I saw who was a part of it. You have Bill Polian, highly involved, Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward. You have Daryl Johnson as a general manager, Phil Savage, who was a GM in the NFL and an NFL pundit on NFL Network. He's a general manager. Then you're seeing an all-time great coach, Steve Spurrier, coaching the Orlando Apollos. You're seeing Mike Martz, who was once the most innovative offensive mind in the NFL with the greatest show on turf. St. Louis Rams won a Super Bowl as offensive coordinator and went to a Super Bowl. So there's all types of names. Then there's name recognition from the players that, I remember this guy, whether it's from college or his short stint in the NFL. So there's all those things. Why I personally got into it is what you echoed a little bit ago was, okay, yes, I'm a Michigan writer, but I love the NFL. I love football in general. So I wanted news about the Alliance of American Football, and I'm just not seeing enough of it yet. There's some podcasts here and there, but there's nothing truly professional, I'd say, besides just a few here and there and, of course, the main site. So there's definitely a niche that needs to be filled. There's a void right now, and I hope to be a major part of filling it. Our site's doing quite well right now, and if the Alliance of American Football grows, so will AllianceFootballFocus.com.
And I completely agree, but the void that you speak of, those are some of the things I have questions for. Now, we can all allude to, that the Friday before kickoff week 1, they finally launched the app, and it was already in the top 4 for sports-related apps downloaded. But the app wasn't very much, it didn't give you a lot of stats. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, MGM, I believe, which is obviously based out of Vegas, they're spending over $500 million in technology for this app, and they've even admitted they're working out the kinks. What this app really is it's going to be the prelude to online gambling on our phones, to where as week by week things progress, they're going to fine-tune it, and eventually they want it to where we can all make bets play to play. Yeah, there's some stats lacking. There's definitely some kinks to be worked out, but the fact that it's actually the #1 sports app now on Google Play and the iTunes App Store, okay. I mean, there's definitely word of mouth being spread. So but there's always 2 ways to look at things, but I think logically and objectively speaking, there's a lot to be optimistic about.
The other thing, again, I thought that because of the gambling and the overturning of PASPA, I thought for sure the idea, going in with MGM, I thought that was a good marriage. But the other thing that I thought would be huge, especially, again, keep in mind, just like you said, you're in northern Indiana, the Michigan area. We don't have a team there. There's not a team above the Mason-Dixon line. So, obviously, which makes it fun that we don't have to go with the regional team. We can pick a team that we want. I follow the Orlando Apollos. My co-host here, Serge, he follows the Arizona Hotshots. So we got to pick our teams. But we thought a good way to get the Quad Cities, and that's the area that it's called around here, involved more would be through the fantasy football. And again, another thing that kind of was lacking and is lacking is the fantasy football element of it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you're right, but let's say they did launch a fantasy football. There just wouldn't have been, from day one, to start leagues, enough people. And when there's a startup like this, I mean, this is all new, right? I mean, there's the XFL about 20 years ago. It obviously failed. This is different. There's obviously more inclined to do things baby steps, one step at a time. And I think that's smart. So, yeah, I think someday there should be some fantasy football, but I think if you roll out some things too early, they can fail. Same thing like you said, the Midwest, they don't have a team. Well, there's 8 teams right now. I think that's plenty enough. Maybe by next season there'll be 10 to 12, especially with new investors rolling in. But so let's say they had a couple teams in the Midwest. The more may have not been merrier year one, and things like that rolling out too much can make something fail. So I like their approach. They'd admit there's some weaknesses and some things they can improve on, but overall, we're just a couple weeks in, and a lot of people are talking about it, so we'll see.
I completely agree with a lot of people talking about it. I think I'm more on your side, Trevor, than you think. I'm just trying to get it out there. I guess I'm trying to be the devil's advocate for the people, because we still have people that believe that it's going to fail. They still have the XFL in their mind. I keep telling them it's not going to fail. It's not even built to really make money. If you listen to anything Charlie Ebersol says, is they're not planning to make any money till year 5 to 7. So, but as far as fantasy goes and analytics and everything, you have a great Q&A on your website, AllianceFootballFocus.com, with no extra points.
Oh, yeah, that was a great conversation I had with the guys over at No Extra Points, and there's some of the most thorough box scores you can find on the net over there. And they also have found that fantasy football niche you think needs to be filled. So, yeah, I would encourage people to check them out. And they also break down beyond the fantasy side what's going on the field and some certain trends from yards per carry and what the losing teams are doing and the winning teams are doing to make them get the W or the L. So, yeah, that's another good site, a good follow on Twitter. And, yeah, we're just happy to be part of something new and to be at the forefront and where people are actually listening to us, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, and, I mean, Steven, the no extra points couldn't get a better endorsement than from Matthew Berry, which is incredible.
Oh, no. I mean, yeah, you're exactly right. Matthew Berry, obviously one of the biggest fantasy sports guys, fantasy football guys in the world, and he has so many Twitter followers, so definitely got a ringing endorsement from Matthew Berry. And then one of my personal favorites, Louis Riddick, also stumbled upon it, and I think he is just the man. And he's just an X's and O's guy, and he found the value there from the analytics on the field side. So, yeah, it has the best of both worlds over there, most definitely.
Okay, you alluded to something earlier when we were talking, when you said maybe possibly expansion, and we discussed this off the air. The Athletic is reporting that the Hurricanes owner, Tom Dundon, invested $250 million in the AAF because the AAF wasn't going to be able to make paychecks for Week 2. And I'm seeing contradicting reports. Can you talk a little bit about this situation?
Yeah, I sure can. Now, that seems like a skepticism-based article that didn't have much basis. The Athletic can hide behind a paywall, and obviously it's millions of people read them, and hats off to them. But, hey, everybody can get something wrong. And from what I know, my understanding, I've talked to some people too, and there was never really any danger by week 3, 4, where guys weren't going to be getting paid. What happened is what you see in any startup. You saw somebody looking at, okay, they had 3 million views on television week 1, number 1 app, all these things, word of mouth being spread on Twitter, all this can be aggregated and evaluated. So the Carolina Hurricanes owner said, hey, this is a quote from him. He told to Ebersol, he said, you can raise Series A, Series B, Series C, or you can raise Series Infinity right now, and that's exactly what happened. So Dundon just stepped up to the plate and said, boom, here's a bunch of money. We're going to get you much forward in the process to doing investments incrementally. So Ebersol said it was not urgency. And think about it. I mean, anytime a startup occurs, obviously they need investors. Now, I just find the narrative puzzling here, taking some business classes in college, to where it's good news when somebody's throwing down $250 million. When something's new, it's not necessarily a bailout, and it wasn't in this case. He saw value and he laid some money down. So
yeah,
I
he's
think
not,
that
he's not loaning you $5.
No, exactly. You're not going to do that if something's going to fail in a month or a year's time. You see the longevity and what it can become. You see how it can potentially be, basically the AAA, the official developmental league of the NFL. So yeah, that was a report that I thought was head scratching, and I really didn't understand it. Just looking at it, I think this is a good day for the Alliance of American Football that somebody did that.
I got a question out there from one of our listeners out there we do a Vance Pizza Pub and Grill comment thread. So we have listeners out there on Facebook Live watching, and one of our listeners wants to know if you ever think that there will be a scrimmage between an NFL team and an Alliance team.
I mean, that is an absolutely great question.
Too early to tell?
Well, yeah, it's definitely too early to tell. That first and foremost, too early to tell. But then when the leagues start, that definitely factors into, okay, around May there's going to be some mini camps and rookie camps for the NFL, and that's pretty much when the season's ending for the AAF. So if anything, I could definitely see in the future maybe some 7-on-7s type thing where they roll in some of the studs of the AAF and have some fun with some NFL players practicing, make it a tad competitive, and maybe we could see some videos of that. But just a full-fledged scrimmage, 53-man rosters versus 53-man, I don't see that for quite some time. The scheduling just doesn't line up, and that's the major factor there.
Excuse me. So as we're talking about, because we said week 2 and talking about payrolls, we know that each player makes $250,000. So there is incentives there. There's playing percent incentives, but there's also a social media following incentive. And Charlie Ebersol talked about how he wants each player to try to make their own brand. He does say, like Juju Smith-Schuster, how many people he has following, and basically what he wants that to happen is so that it becomes organic, and then it grows a following and people are watching the AAF or the Alliance. Have you heard anything that the players talk about this, or anybody that you've interviewed, the possibility of the incentive with through social media?
Well, there's always incentives, not necessarily through, okay, I have 100,000 followers, but the better following you have, the more money for endorsements and such you'll have, whether they're local, and certainly there's the local element here. The local diner or bar, craft beer house, things like that, or just up and coming companies or companies who have been around in the San Diego market, which is one of the biggest cities in the United States, Orlando, which is definitely thriving right now. So I haven't, to answer your question from the league, telling the players no, but just from an overall perspective, yeah, hell yeah. If the AAF continues to grow and get recognition, then the more money in the pot for endorsements for these guys, most definitely.
Which teams have you been getting the most cooperation with, for getting coverage?
Oh, all of them I think have been great. I've definitely talked to somebody from all of them, and I have followers, team presidents like Michael Waddle from the Orlando Apollos, and definitely quite a few others I'm not going to name because I forget. Yeah. But there's definitely been good conversations, and steady as she goes. That they've definitely been pretty kind in retweeting and favoriting some of our articles, and that's always good to see. And this website is less than a month since it's launched, and we're proud of what we've accomplished in that time and the relationships we've made. And who we've conversated with. So steady as she goes.
Yeah, we've had good conversations with the people that we have gotten a hold of, and there's a handful of the beat writers that haven't returned anything that we've asked to talk to. I did talk to some of the higher ups, like you alluded to, from the Orlando Apollos, and they quickly passed me over to some other people and said we've got other things to do. But it was also during their spring training, their preseason stuff, so I understand that completely. But no,
exactly, and we've also been happy to do radio interviews with yourself and others, and definitely quite a few sports journalists with good followings that have been following us and talking to us. So yeah, thank you, and thank everybody else, because we're all in this together, right? Whether it's your show, our site, got to work together in order to achieve. Sometimes teamwork makes the dream work, as they say.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen? Have any ratings come out yet for week 2?
You mean like power rankings?
No. Ratings, television ratings.
We know those.
Yeah.
Oh, got you. Yeah, they're pretty self-explanatory at this point through week 2. We'll see how they shake out when the year ends. But they were down from week 1. I don't have an exact figure for you, but yeah, they were a bit down, but that's to be expected. The first week, the main game, the launch game, was on CBS, and there's not going to be another one of those on regular CBS until the championship game. But with games on TNT, NFL Network, CBS Sports Network, I still think they're going to be pretty steady and definitely be better than any ratings the Canadian Football League and Arena League have ever seen. So
the launch game and the Orlando game was on more in the Florida area. Everybody else got, I believe, it was the Commanders and the Fleet. Everybody else did when that came on the very first weekend. And obviously, that's the night of the big hit. So that's good, the 2.1. But it wasn't the better game. Orlando was. I just wonder why CBS didn't flip it, because that was kind of the downfall of week 1 of the XFL. The better game was played while they were showing the one that wasn't the better one, if you watch the 30 for 30.
Yeah, I think that was week 2, right? That there was a power outage.
Oh yeah. There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. And then Saturday Night Live was pissed off because the game went over, and they missed. It was the first time they did live coast to coast from it. Anyway, yeah, there's always people who might have been pissed they switched the game, and then there might have been people. Yeah, there could have been. I just think they wanted to give the people in Florida, that area, and maybe there are people in North Carolina and stuff who could care less, but the people who truly want to become fans, the opportunity to see it from whistle to whistle. But I hear you. The other game was more entertaining, closer, but we'll see if they do that in the future, though. That's an interesting question you posed.
But there was 4 games this week, and that Orlando game the Orlando San Antonio game was fantastic. And I tell you what, the Alliance couldn't be happier to have that game. That's what I think when they were talking about this league, that's what they were talking about. I mean, Garrett Gilbert looked great, Charles Johnson looked great. These are guys that obviously have played in the league. Maybe Garrett Gilbert's been tossed off, but Charles Johnson played a few years ago for the Vikings. But they were fantastic. You made them both players of the week in your site. Commanders look good overall, and Arizona's still as strong as can be. So they've got 3 really strong teams, and I think Memphis just needs to change a few things, and Atlanta's struggling a little bit, but it is good football. We just want people to come around and look forward to it every week.
Oh, you're right. I mean, the Apollos, they were firing at all cylinders. That game against the Commanders, that reminded me of the Rams-Chiefs game a bit, just back and forth attacks. That was highly entertaining television. There's some pretty good defense, despite Garrett Gilbert throwing for 393 yards for the Apollos and Charles Johnson almost having 200 yards receiving. So, yeah, there's some good offense going on. The defense, I think, has been high-flying. The overall game speed is definitely much quicker than college. It's kind of a tweener right now between the NFL and the good teams in the NCAA. And as the weeks go by, keep in mind that there was a short training camp and there weren't really many preseason type games. There are a couple of scrimmages. So the first couple of weeks is a glorified preseason. The wins and losses are counting, but the best football is yet to come. So if people have liked it to this point, they should stick around. And if they haven't watched it yet, now's a perfect time to start watching.
Yeah,
and as you said, there's the Hot Shots, Apollos, Commanders, the Iron are 2-0. So yeah, there's some teams, and no team's out of it yet. They can figure it out, make some adjustments, and turn some things around. So the power rankings could look completely different by the time Week 10 rolls around, where we have 10 games in.
Let me ask you: are you planning on going to Las Vegas April 27th for the Alliance Bowl?
Oh yeah, I'll be there. I'll definitely be there. It'll be interesting to see the turnout, the attendance, and the overall atmosphere. That few day stretch, I believe they're having events at least a couple days before. So I know they want to make this, Super Bowl light, make it be a spectacle and have some events and roll out the red carpet a bit. So yeah, I'm interested to see what it's all like. The first Super Bowl definitely wasn't like what we see now. So it's the start of something new, and if this ends up being around for 5-10 years or more, it'd be real neat to say I was at the first Alliance Championship. So, I'll be happy to be there reviewing the game as objectively as I possibly can.
All right. So, Trevor, is it cool if we check in with you maybe in about 2 weeks, see where the season's at?
Of course,
All
yeah.
Right. Before you go, tell everybody where they can follow you at on Twitter, and then plug the website as well.
Yeah, definitely appreciate your viewers on the web and asking questions and all that. And you can find me on Twitter. It's Alliance FF. It's Alliance FF on Twitter. And then the website is alliancefootballfocus.com.
All right. And then to all our listeners out there, we want you to know, just because Trevor writes for Michigan doesn't mean you can hassle him, because we're all Hawkeye fans down here, Trevor.
Oh, hey, you guys really took it to Michigan a couple years ago in Iowa, and going into that game, Michigan was undefeated. They had the national championship, the college football playoff in their sights, and you guys really put a damper on it. But going into that game, I said, watch out for Iowa, and it's just a ferocious place to play. Everybody should be scared of coming up there. Got nothing but respect for the Iowa football team and basketball team, so nothing but love from here.
Right on, Trevor. Thank you very much. I'll be in contact with you soon. Thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
Bye. Thank you.
Yep. All right, let's take a quick break, and then let's open up the phone lines, 563-391-3776. If you got something to say about the Machado deal, about Iowa Hawkeye basketball, which we can talk about real quick again. Basketball game tonight. Do we know a Hassel Streak pick?
We're going to find that out.
Okay. Anything else? The phone line's 563-391-3776.
Pints is Davenport's premier spot for craft draft beer and superb cocktails. Located at 5268 Utica Ridge Road on the border of Davenport and Bettendorf, it's the perfect location for people out on the town. Grab some drinks before the movies or after dinner on a date, or maybe just stop by any day of the week to enjoy our happy hour or any one of our 7 daily specials. Don't forget, every Sunday at Pints, proud to bring you the best Sunday funny there is, there was, and there ever will be, featuring $3 you call it's. Pints, 5268 Utica Ridge Road, your place to party.
This is Brian Rothenberger, radio guy for the Quad City Storm. You are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
In a world where dreams are built from the ground up, Tailored Living makes room for your vision. Imagine his and her walk-in closets in the master bedroom.
Oh, my dream come true. I could just kiss you. Mwah!
Sweet. Your home, your dream.
Tailored Living Custom Closet or Organization System will take you from clutter and chaos to control. Hi, I'm Amy. Schedule your free in-home consultation at tailoredliving.com, and together you and I will build the closet of your dreams.
It's the hottest ticket in town. It's hard-hitting, high-flying, non-stop entertainment. It's Quad City Steamwheelers football. The IFL season kicks off Friday night, February 22nd against the San Diego Strike Force. Tickets start at only $10. So bring the entire family and meet the players after the game. Experience the excitement of professional indoor football. Call the Tax Slayer box office or visit SteamWheelerTickets.com. That's Friday night, February 22nd, the Steamwheelers versus San Diego, presented by Crawford Company.
Touchdown, Steamwheelers!
ESPN 93.5 wants you to be an insider. Access great contests and giveaways and be in the know at ESPN935.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged, and ESPN Quad Cities. From local to global, ESPN 93.5 has you covered with your Quad Cities sports talk show. It's Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Talk sports with your favorite foursome, T-Roy, Jay Bird, Serge, and you. Weekdays from noon to 2 on ESPN 93.5.
Gobo Productions presents One Night of Queen. Since forming in 2002, Gary Mullen and the Works have performed to sellout audiences all over the world. And now they're back in the USA for a brand new tour. One Night of Queen is a spectacular live concert recreating the look, sound, and showmanship of arguably the greatest rock band of all time. You'll hear classic Queen numbers including We Will Rock You, Fat Bottom Girls, Another One Bites the Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, and We Are the Champions. One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. This show will rock you.
Coming to the TextLayer Center March 24th. Tickets are on sale now at the TextLayer Center box office and Ticketmaster.com. Presented by Town Square Media.
Now, back to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay. 'Cause the $1 Million Man always gets his way.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle So Local. We're getting ready to do our Hassle Streak bet. I was just trying to pull up the new MyBookie.com promo
You win,
sheet.
you pay with MyBookie. That's the MyBookie way.
That's you win, you pay. Go to MyBookie.com. Enter the promo code QC Hassle. I believe right now their promo is to match any deposit 50%. They ran something Thursday through Monday. It was for the next Rookie of the Year, and they would, if you bet Zion. So I emailed them yesterday and said, hey, do you have a new promo for me? And they said they'd get back to me within 24 to 48 hours. And I've just checked the email while $1 Million Man was laughing at me. So I was scrambling, as you guys could see on the Vans Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook
Lord of the
comment.
board.
So anyway, go to MyBookie.com, and we're going to do the Hassle Streak. And I'm,
You're up, buddy.
I'm up, so I'm just going to take the Hawkeyes tonight. -2.5?
Well, that's simple.
Is it -2.5? Or 2?
It's 2.
-2. I'll take the Hawkeyes -2.
It's going to be a buzzer beater?
I don't know. I hope not. So anyway, speaking of MyBookie, no. I was going to say something else. Oh, no. Speaking of Vans Pizza Pub and Grill Facebook comment line, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. All of it's at QC Hassle across the board. We appreciate that. Feel free to follow ESPN 93.5 as well, and you can, like you said, you guys know you can listen to us or watch us live on Facebook Live. You can download our podcast at Podbean, and you can listen to us on ESPN 93.5. We got a phone call we're going to take. I feel like we're going to get yelled at. You're on the air, ESPN 93.5.
What is happening, Jay and Serge?
Ease or A's?
What's up, Ease?
Hey, man, I saw was it a tweet or was it a Facebook post that you said you've been working at your job for 12 years and they still don't know how to pronounce your last name?
Yep, well, almost 13.
It took us one afternoon. Jeez. All right. Ease or A's, what do you think about this this deal, this 10 years for $300 million, Manny Machado to the Padres?
I am so excited that it's finally done.
Right.
I'm not thrilled with the Padres. I'm not super excited about it, but I saw some guys on the Facebook comment line were talking about how he's never going to make the playoffs again. I just want to let them know they're probably wrong. The Padres are...
How soon?
How soon? I would say if they get Corey Kluber this year, they could make it this year. They have a full farm. Their farm system is probably one of the best in baseball. They have Fernando Tatis Jr., who they got from the White Sox for James Shields. They have Luis Urias at second base. Okay. They have five outfielders, and they can probably trade at least one or two of them. They have two young catchers who are both pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not on the verge. But if they can make one or two moves, they're going to be right there. I mean, they're not. The West isn't as good as it used to be. The West is not the same division it was last year.
Okay.
The Diamondbacks took a step back. The Rockies, I don't know what they are. And the Giants are not getting better. So, I mean.
All right, so the Dodgers will probably remain in the hunt, maybe. Yeah. But let's just look down a couple years. It depending, but age is always a factor. But it always seems like the Diamondbacks or the Rockies kind of, trade off every 3 years to be in the hunt as well. I just, the Padres. I mean, it just doesn't seem like this is their first big signing since when? I mean,
well, Hosmer 2 years ago.
That's not since Jake Peavy. What was?
Peavy was a draft pick.
It's an extension. I don't know. I
don't even know. I don't know the last big name free agent that they brought in there.
And when was the last time the World Series? 96 against the Yankees.
Oh yeah, that might have been.
Yeah, I think it was.
It was Bochy. I mean, Bochy was the manager.
Yeah. So
that wasn't 96. It was
95
or 98.
Okay,
somewhere in there. 98.
But the thing is, I'm with you on this. I'm glad it's over. Hopefully, it speeds it up. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. We are, a month away from the first game in Japan.
Yep.
So a month and a day. So. Yeah, I'm glad. I hope this speeds it up. What do you think this means for Harper, though?
I'm with you. I think he's going to get 10 years, $310 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's
same
thing.
Same thing. Opt after 5.
Probably
go through the whole thing all over again.
Whatever Philly's willing to do, I think. I mean, I don't know if this turns the heat up on the White Sox, but the report I saw, Ken Rosenthal reported that the White Sox offered a higher annual value to Machado, 8 years, $250 million, with incentives that could raise it well north of $300 million, and he turned it down.
Why do you think he turned that down?
I have no idea. I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, the White Sox and the Padres, I mean, they're almost carbon copies of each other about what they have. They're both have full farms with these kids who are, 2 years away from winning. And I don't know why he wouldn't want to go to the White Sox and stay in the American League and just, did the White Sox not want him to play shortstop? I don't know.
No, there was nothing about that. This is all pretty much on Machado.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was just a personal preference on where he wanted to go. And I mean, it could be as simple as he chose a warmer climate.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think he listens to the show and T-Roy talking about tacos, the fish tacos at the...
Well, the reports coming out of the weekend where he wanted to stay on the East Coast was his preference. And then he changed his mind to, well, whoever gives me the most money. So I mean, these are all reports. You don't know what to believe. But, I mean, for San Diego, I mean... I get it. Like they've been the joke for 20 years.
Well, and then we're talking about how much better does that make San Diego this year? Like I said, it depends on who else they pick up. But the odds just came in after the Machado trade. They moved up to a 60-1 60-1 odds to win the World Series, which is ironically exactly what the White Sox are at too without him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they went from 100-1 to 60-1. The White Sox are still at 60-1.
I wonder what they do if they package Franchi Cordero and Franmil Reyes to the Indians for Corey Kluber and see what happens. Because they have 5 outfielders. They have too many outfielders with all these guys. With Hunter Renfroe, Manny Margot, Will Myers, Franchi Cordero, Franmil Reyes, and I think they've even got one. They still got Travis Jankowski, who's good for like 2 weeks every May.
We're not talking fantasy here. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, User A's. We appreciate it. Always great talking with you, man.
Yep. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it.
Hi, brother.
All right. Anybody else want to call in? 391-3776, 563-391-3776. I wanted to bring this up yesterday, but I guess I'll do it now. Just something of the weird.
What you got, buddy?
The French fencing body organization.
What?
Yes, the fencing.
Okay.
The French. The
what?
Body organization recognizes lightsaber dueling as a sport.
All right.
So they've got rules and everything dealing with lightsabers. You know what a lightsaber is, right?
I'm familiar.
Yeah. So it's now easier than ever in France to act out Star Wars fantasies because its fencing federation has borrowed from a galaxy far, far away and officially recognized lightsaber dueling as a competitive sport, granting the iconic weapon from George Lucas's saga the same status as the foil.
Are we talking virtual
saber.
reality?
No.
So we're talking
in traditional blades
plastic
used at Olympics.
lightsabers.
No, it's a let's see it's organized in 3-minute bouts. You have to strike from behind your arm, so you can't like do any, they call it like slashing. I read all this. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
All right, here's the deal. Combatants fight inside a circle marked in tape on the floor. Strikes to the head or body are worth 5 points. To the arms or legs, 3 points. On hands, 1 point. The first to 15 points, or if they don't get their quick, what?
What's the lightsaber made out of?
I think yellow wiffle ball bats. That's what I used when I was little.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. That part.
Do you have to make your own sound effects?
It says blows only count if the fighters first point the tip of their saber behind them. Yeah. That rule prevents the viper-like quick first tips forward strikes seen in fencing.
Can you get through this?
No, I can't. I just can't believe this. Luckily, they have no hope of a place in the Paris Olympics in 2024.
Did you put the ESPN logo stamp on the back
this
of
is
that?
a real thing. Yeah, this is for real. Actually, like I think
What
CBS.
site is this from?
This is ESPN. This is yesterday. CBS Sports was reporting it as well. This is crazy, isn't it? How many people are gonna go out there like Bobby Mack and Brundies are gonna be like
the first ones in line?
Yeah. And I wonder if you can choose your
T-Roy.
color, if you can get the Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber. This is too much.
Thank you. There you go.
I'm just saying, if they're going to take away...
A for effort there.
No, but
No.
it's on there. I'm like, well, I just didn't know. I want to hear your input. I'm not a huge fan of it or whatever else. I'm not saying anything's wrong with Star Wars, but I don't think it should be in the Olympics or it should be recognized as a sport. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to be a sport. I'm not. Hey,
Well, they have rules.
Lots of things have rules.
There's an activity involved.
Your bar has rules. Is it a sport?
No, but I'm just saying that.
Should
I mean, it's got some type of scoring system, right?
Great. We've made up games with rules and scoring system. Doesn't make them all sports.
All right.
I gotta see this.
Bags isn't a sport?
It sure is.
Okay, see, they've got rules in their
Cornhole.
scoring system.
Right.
Can Jam?
Can Jam.
See, it's something. It's all started
Is
from
Can
some
Jam a sport or is it a
activity?
Hobby.
All right. Well, we'll say that the cornhole is
like Can Jam. Something that makes me want to put on a tie-dye St.
Listen,
Patty's
if
Day
curling's a
t-shirt, go out.
sport, I say lightsaber can be a sport.
Have you seen it?
In my head.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure they got to have something on YouTube or whatever else. I just didn't go that
Pretty
far.
easy to make a fantasy league on that because it's already fantasy.
Ah, I like what you did there. Yeah. Want to talk about? We're going to be recording a fantasy baseball podcast tonight for our network, our podcast network with Matt Bowie.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting.
I got offered to do a fantasy baseball league. I passed.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
What was it for?
A buddy of mine back home.
Okay.
In Hamilton. Our buddy, the pinball wizard, Bryce Wilson, his dad, Brandon, was asked me if I want to be in the league. I said, thank you very much for the offer. I genuinely appreciate it, but I'm going to pass. It's too much work for me.
All right. Well, I still have my regular one that I've been doing. I think it's going on its 19th year.
How long do those drafts take?
They take a long time. 5 to 6 hours.
Forever.
Yeah. And then we did one QC Hassel one, but it just fell apart. What I want to do is I wanted to get into a head-to-head one this year. I don't know how that's going to come up, but anyway, Bowie. So that's another podcast that we're putting together. We just rolled out the Esports from Paradigm podcast yesterday, And so we're coming out with the content for just our podcast network. And you can follow that. That's still on Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. You can get us on Podbean or at iTunes and whatnot. But it's going to be interesting with Bowie to hear how his brain works, because although I've been doing fantasy baseball, I've never, like, tiered my own guys. There's so many in baseball. Like, it's okay to football where you're like, okay, these are the top 5 quarterbacks, and here's the next 5, and here's the next 5, and move on. Same with the running back. It's easier to tier players, but all those positions, all those players, I've never.
I got to check on my fantasy basketball team.
Yeah, you need to check on your fantasy basketball team. I feel like you just got reminded that you have one.
I did.
Well, remember the Alliance Football League that we were talking to Trevor about?
I was locked out of the app.
Yeah.
I finally got back in shortly after we talked about it last time.
How you looking?
I'll let you know.
I got locked out again. You got locked out again? Well, I
just downloaded the Alliance app. The app looks good. Looks better now. Looks like they cleaned some stuff up.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
I do have it,
Okay.
yes. And I guessed a couple plays for the Orlando game that I was watching on Sunday. So,
Nice.
But we need to, tomorrow, hopefully the T-Row will be back. We'll do our guest the lines. It will have Metcalf in here, and we'll have Kakert in here. And we get to follow up with the Iowa game. So I don't think the Fran's going to turn around and have a presser right away. So we look forward to having that. Want to thank, Coach Giovanni for being on. Again, that was awesome. Thank Rothy and Chezzy for coming in. Thanks, Trevor, for calling in from Alliance Fantasy Focus. Sometimes the scrambles are the most fun shows we have. Right. And, again, when you start off that strong with Coach Giovanni, you can't have a bad show. And I think he just gave a little kick in the butt and made the show go that much stronger. And it's so good to meet Chezzy for the first time. So see nothing but good things for the Storm out there.
How many other coaches are GMs in that league?
He says it's pretty common, but
really,
yeah,
I've never heard of that. I guess
neither.
I would have never really thought to ask that or think that would be an option or an idea.
Yeah, you would think sometimes like almost a conflict of interest because one guy all of a sudden all of a sudden some guy doesn't. You yell at him for not skating too hard, and then you have to trade him 2 days later, even though the trade was already in the works. And then he's like, "Oh, coach never liked me." He's right. He's like, "Well, I've had players hug me." He's like, "I never want to because you're still going to have bitter feelings about it."
Right.
No one wants to be traded. Not even from my fantasy football team. My players, even those guys, the professionals, tweet at me and they're like, "What'd you do?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, had to shake up the team."
Did you lie to him?
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was my co-owner. It wasn't me, seriously. So.
My wife got my phone.
Yeah,
she sabotaged me.
My account was hacked.
My kids logged in.
No, but thanks for everyone for listening. Again, download the app, and thanks for following us on Facebook Live, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. You have a hassle-free Tuesday.
Hey, this is Goose, PA announcer for the Quad City Storm, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local on ESPN 93.5.
Do it again, a little more heart.
Okay, we're rolling on Powerball Radio. Take 1.
Wednesday's estimated Powerball jackpot is $282 million.
Not bad, but give me more excitement.
Wednesday's estimated Powerball